You gotta be kidding me.
Cowboys at Giants. We're going to go through our must starts, our risky starts, and our don't starts. Going to be a blast. Let's break it down for the people. Wes, take it away with your must start.
Damn it. It's my week to start. And this was hard. I'm just going to be honest. This was hard because it really feels like there are only two guys that you have to start this week. Only two I can confidently say to start. So I'll just go with my man crush, the guy that I think is possibly a top 5 wide receiver on the season. And if you had any concern at all, if you had any doubts whatsoever, I'm sure they were gone after what you saw in week 3. Start Malik Neighbors. He can be your wide receiver 1 for the season if you needed that. If you needed to sell one of your other wide receivers to get a good running back, Malik Neighbors can keep that team going for you. He is a beast. He's an alpha. And everything I saw in the offseason, in the videos that maybe some of you saw as well, no joke. I love the guy. Keep rolling him out. No questions asked. He's a lock in your lineup.
Absolutely. 30 targets over the last 2 weeks, 18 catches, over 28 fantasy points in each of his last 2 games. Not only does he have top 5 upside, West, after 3 weeks, he is the wide receiver 1 in fantasy football.
You can take I'm going to take a victory lap third on Friday show.
Yeah, you are, dude. It's going to be a blast. My must start here. Listen, I was a week early, and I was worried, and I said he was a dud last week, and he was an absolute stud. My must start for Thursday Night Football is Dak Prescott. I want to revisit this and come back to. I said last week, when he takes off, when he arrives, it's going to go quick, and it's going to be like rapid fire. And it was last week that was when the arrival happened. He had been really disappointing, but over 33, I believe, fantasy points this week, this past week. Also, the Cowboys are just pissed off, dude. Like, they don't like losing. I don't know if you saw the clip of him in the tunnel, of Dak in the tunnel after the game, but he was like, doing that whole thing when you're like so pissed off that you're kind of like just talking to yourself as you're like walking, like you're like kind of like shaking your head and that sort of thing. I think it was like, I said something like keep that energy or something like that. And listen, Deshaun Watson just had over 20 fantasy points against the Giants. So Dak Prescott, I just want to come back to it. I know last week I said dud. I was wrong. 8 crow there. And he's a must start on Thursday night against a pretty poor Giants defense.
I wonder what the Cowboys are going to do when they lose to the Giants on primetime. I wonder how they're going to feel.
Probably bad things.
All right, risky starts.
King in Dallas.
So risky starts. All right, risky starts. The opposite quarterback in this game. Daniel Jones had a hell of a week. I see that as a risky start. I get it. There's a little bit of concern as to what you want to do with a guy that got 23 points and 6-point passing, but the rushing upside is there. It's what we like. 5 rushes, not a ton. But this Dallas defense, we give a lot of credit to what they have done last season. We consider them to be one of the top 10. I don't know. I don't know just yet if they are a top 10 defense this season. Now, they have a lot of star players, and I think we'll find out. But as long as Malik Neighbors is there and healthy, and Daniel Jones threw 2 touchdowns, both to Malik Neighbors. So I think that combination is going to keep him at a really good floor. You're really concerned about your quarterback. You don't know what you're going to do. If you're one of the weirdos that drafted Trevor Lawrence and you're like, I have no idea what to do. Daniel Jones is there. He's my risky start for the week.
Yeah. I hate Daniel Jones, but I like what he does for Malik Neighbors. So there you go. There's that.
You hate him? Fun.
My risky start is my dude, Jake Ferguson. 15.5 fantasy points in his return from an MCL sprain. 11 targets, led the team. A little concern, but I think I can attribute it to he was coming back from injury. He was splitting a little bit of time with Luke Schoonmaker. I do believe it was just because they weren't trying to give him a full rollout in his workload right there, especially when they were down like 28-3 at that point. Here's the risk: all tight ends suck, so that's the risk.
True,
but I like Ferguson this week. And I think he's Dak Prescott likes him too. So he's my risky start, but it's more just leaning on the erring on the side of caution there because tight ends just suck. So if your options were play a tight end in your tight end slot or don't, I would, believe it or not. And I would play Jake Ferguson. So there you go. That's my risky start.
This show is full of such sound and remarkable advice. If you have a tight end, start him. Don't not start a tight end. Fourth and Drill Fantasy. Patreon.com/Fourth and Drill Fantasy.
Yeah.
All right. My don't start. Let's get into the don't starts. There are a lot of players that are at most risky start and a lot that I would even consider don't start. And I really did not know who to choose that I think is even worth noting until, yes, don't start Rico Dowdle. Let's just call it. Let's call it. Okay. Never had double-digit carries this season so far. Never had even 50% snap count so far. Let's just call it. Do not put him in your lineup. That's not the way you want to start your week. And he is not being efficient with the football anyway. If he does even get the football, so let's put the panic button all the way down. Press it. Rico Dowdle is not your running back. Don't start him.
Yeah, I think Dallas is just realizing what they realized like after week 5 last week, but they're now realizing it in week 3 is like, just stop trying to run the ball. Like just let Dak and CD and Jake Ferguson do their thing and yada 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 whatever. My don't start is running back on the other side there, Devin Singletary. Listen, I've been a little bit impressed with the floor that Devin Singletary has brought to fantasy football teams with a little bit of upside for like this past week against the Browns, 18 fantasy points. Here's the thing. As I mentioned, they be pissed off in Dallas. Them boys is pissed. And they want vengeance after Derrick Henry just clobbered them on the ground. And I believe they are going to come out swinging on that run with that run defense. And I do not believe Singletary is going to have a usable week for fantasy football. Pair that with Tyrone Tracy Jr., a guy we talked about in the offseason. His role is expanding. He is slowly seeing more and more snaps, and he will take over that pass-catching back role at some point here shortly. So he's a guy to have a little bit of concern with as well when it comes to Singletary's upside. But